Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. You know, we're dealing with the saga of the Cowboys versus Micah Parsons, and like I said, I'm going to get mine. This is getting to be ridiculous, to be quite honest. Now, I will say Micah Parsons and their agent have played it perfectly to cut off the Cowboys' arguments on not getting this thing done. Okay? Micah Parsons going through and giving you step-by-steps everything that's happened or not happened with the Cowboys. And now we have David Magenta going through and giving his side of the story. Typically, we don't get all of this stuff. Typically, we get the Cowboys that are just talking about, the player's just greedy and that, they're not a team player and they're not that good, this, that, and the other. But the Cowboys have actually been played as far as the game goes. You got Jerry Jones who's trying to say, oh, we had a deal. Okay. All right. We had a deal. Now, David Magenta actually goes through and counters that argument. If you had a deal, all you had to do was talk to the agent. That's all you had to do. Talk to the agent. Because what we have here is David Magenta, who went on 105.3 The Fan, the flagship station, and set the record straight and said, we let them know we're open for business. If you had a deal, then let's discuss it and see if it is actually a deal or not, or if we can counter it. So I have to say, Micah, or excuse me, Jerry, when you thought you had a deal, did Micah counter and say, well, I'd like to get such and such. Maybe we can add, or maybe I don't like that. Or did Micah give you any indication that this deal was great? I love it. This is perfect. I don't want anything else. Or did he just kind of say, talk to my agent? So here's what 105.3 The Fan has. And I have to say, I'm getting, my disillusionment is coming back. I'm beginning to say all the goodwill that was built up has been shot where I thought things were changing. Hold on. Let's go to the tape.
Did Micah want to get a deal done last year? Because I think that's something that we haven't gotten necessarily a definitive timeline on of when things would happen. I know Mike said it was after the season in his statement, but then there was a quote we were talking about yesterday where he had said, I'm just focused on playing, and how Steven had said he's betting on himself, he wants to stack up the year.
And the Cowboys version is that they were totally in on getting a deal done last year because they could have been living in the threes instead of the fours.
So this is basically what David told me. He said this is the on the record description of this is what happened. Said after the 24 season, saw them at Combine and told them we're open for business. Basically said we're ready to do a deal. We're ready to work on an extension if you guys want to.
This is the Combine when all of us were there.
No, this is last year. This is 18 months ago. They told them we're ready to do a deal. So they are disputing the claim that they haven't wanted to get a deal done. They've wanted to wait. David said, no, we told them we were ready to go. And he said Cowboys had told them at the time, we got a lot of things we got to work through right now, particularly Dak's contract is a priority at the moment. Mm-hmm. And he said they totally understood it, went, yep, handle what you got to handle, understand it, that's a pressing issue. Just let you know, we're open for business when you guys are done with that. You guys can hit us up. Well, obviously, Dak didn't get done till week one. Once week one rolls around, then Micah was focused on the season. And so it's like, okay, no, we're in season now. We're not going to go negotiating and make this be a distraction. We're focused on the season. So that's when Micah said, I'm going to play the season. It was because it had started. So when they heard that, they understood that aspect of it. But because that took so long, that kind of ended the opportunity to get anything done in 24 as soon as the season began. Mm-hmm. So they then communicated again to the Cowboys in 25 this past year. They were ready to do business again. And nothing has transpired, obviously, since then. So the official word from them is that they have communicated on 2 separate occasions over the course of 18 months. Guys, we're ready to do this, and it just hasn't happened yet.
All right, so there you have it. So this goes back to the Dallas Cowboys in general, where the Cowboys take their time doing stuff. Because they took so long to do CeeDee Lamb and then Dak, you ran out of time to do Micah's. And this is the same thing when you first franchised Dak Prescott. Here it was the last day to get franchised players done. You're still sitting here at 3:59 trying to get it done, and you didn't get it done in time. And here we are doing the same thing. You are now working on Micah, or excuse me, not working on Micah. We're 29 days away from the season starting, and we're going to have the same problem with Tyler Smith and Deron Bland. This makes no sense. You have been in training camp now for what, 3 weeks? 3 weeks. The only thing you've gotten done is Ferguson, one that you didn't have to get done. That wasn't the 911 call. That wasn't the 5-alarm fire. Micah Parsons' contract is. And so now, David Magenta said, hey, 18 months ago, we said we're open for business. They said, well, we're in the middle of trying to do Dak and CD, and, you know, we got a lot of work to do here, right? Okay, no problem. You handle your business. You handle your business. We'll letting you know, as soon as you're done, we're ready. We can get working on this. And here it is. Jerry Jones has yet to actually had a negotiation. Let's get one more in here. This is Tom Passero, which the thing is, here's the reality of all this stuff is people believe that, you know, there's that I have an exclusive. Okay, yes, you may have had an exclusive, but the reality is everybody is sharing the same news. What, 105.3 The Fan, shout out to 105.3 The Fan and Bobby Belt talking to David Magenta and things, getting that. You can best believe that Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport and all those guys are going to be repeating exactly that statement, and that's the way the news goes. So Tom Passero, who's at Jacksonville Jaguars training camp, he's not in Dallas, so you know he's sharing other news from somebody else.
We also have at least some level of a question surrounding whether Micah Parsons will be out there in week 1, that kickoff game for the Cowboys against the Eagles, which is now less than 30 days away. Parsons requested a trade from the team on Friday. Jerry Jones has said repeatedly in multiple different ways that there is nothing to see here. They are not trading him, not even a consideration, and that this is all part of a negotiation. However, there has been very little in terms of actual negotiation taking place. Negotiation being the exchange of bargaining proposals, not merely talks surrounding the contract. Remains to be seen exactly what direction this thing goes. To this point, the Cowboys have not had anything resembling serious trade calls resembling Micah Parsons. There would obviously be a market, but if you were going to trade Micah Parsons, something the Cowboys at least had discussed internally going back to last season, you'd like to think you would have done that back in April and not right before the season, though there is precedent for trading top pass rushers in August, Khalil Mack being a prime example some years ago when the Raiders sent him to the Bears.
Okay, so there you have it, Tom Passero. The reality is this. These are self-inflicted wounds. Self-inflicted. There's nobody else to blame but Jerry and Stephen Jones. David Magenta, 18 months ago, we were ready to do a deal. Had you done it 18 months ago, Micah Parsons has been in the mid-30s. Mid-30s. He'd been in practice right now, practicing, getting ready for a season. Not sitting here on the sidelines in sneakers. And we wouldn't be, as fans, becoming disillusioned with the organization. Yeah. All righty, people. I'll catch you on the flip side.